All right, this story is absolutely insane. And I want to play the video in its full entirety, and then we could like break it apart here. But there were two sisters who were missing for 36 years. Jasmine and Elizabeth Romero's mother was found dead in December 12th, 1989. And these girls, who were just 2 months old, were found days later in a park bathroom in California. They didn't know, the authorities at the time did not know who these two girls were. They were adopted by a couple in Ventura County, and they were raised together, thank goodness, in a very loving home, but they never knew that they were missing. And to be clear here, authorities at the time, obviously, look, at 1989, trying to find out who these kids are, technology too, but as technology progresses, things happen. But this story is absolutely insane. And it tells you just how crazy the world can be. Things you never knew.
Two California sisters missing for 36 years have now been found alive and well. Police found both Jasmine and Elizabeth Ramos in Ventura County, California, living under new names. Neither of them had any idea that they'd been reported missing. What? How did this story unfold? Apparently, their mother was killed. She was stabbed multiple times and found dead in Arizona back in 1989. Somebody walking by found the girls. At the time, they were just 2 months and 14 months old. They were just babies. Days after they went missing, after he heard kids crying in a park bathroom. That's where they were found. At the time, police didn't make the connection between those missing girls, again, found separately from the mother. The girls were adopted by a couple and raised together. Now, the investigation, of course, is shifting to search for their mother's killer. Rahima Ellis has more. This 3 decades, Rahima, that this connection was never made. How did police end up either tracking these girls down? Was it coincidental? How did they find them?
It's not a coincidence at all. This is a result of good old-fashioned detective work, actually.
Pause it.
Go ahead.
The response of good old-fashioned detective work decades after it would have been relevant. Because it's not like at this point that they've discovered this, oh, you'll go back with your old family who's dead, who we didn't look after the killer for. So I love that they're like, don't worry. The response of this is, we're going to figure out who killed the mother. 36 years later, after all the evidence is gone. Yes, give yourself a round. You know what? You deserve a Maxwell apartment pot of coffee for that one.
Oh, dude, too soon for that joke.
The Mohave County Police Department decided to set up a cold case unit to investigate cases that they had not been able to solve. One of them that they decided to zero in on was that of this woman whose body, her stabbed body, had been found.
Hold on.
This is just PR. The only reason that they're reopening her case is it looks really bad on the police for not having 36 years ago put 2 and 2 together. But again, this is what I was saying in the previous story. You're 36 years too late to fix this problem.
Know who she was, had no identification on her. Fast forward 3 years from there, they decided to take the fingerprints from that dead woman and see if there was any fingerprint information in any of the files. Lo and behold, they found a fingerprint match. And with that match, they found a name and an address. They went to the address that they found, and they found a roommate, turned out to be a relative. They got from a family member then DNA evidence from the person. And that then allowed them to identify indeed who this woman was. The person who they originally gotten the DNA evidence from, they thought had been a shoplifter, and her family said she sometimes used an alias. That then led them to check the DNA database of people all over. And it led to these 2 little girls who, in 1989, when their mother had been reported missing, the children had been reported missing too.
Wow. It is just incredible to think about. Do we know anything about their reaction tonight? What about the search to find the killer of their mother?
We don't know about that, but we do know that the girls had been keeping some sort of clips and files over the years because they were curious. They were raised by a foster family. And what we know now is that police have put out some information about what witnesses say they saw that day. They saw that the family had been together with 2 men in a car, and the police are putting out this information hoping it might jog someone's memory.
Can you pause it again? I'm gonna rename this story. Police screw up case completely decades ago. cursory review of case leads to evidence that would have been found had they put any effort into it back then.
You
Because
know,
it sounds like the evidence was there to figure this out,
mhm.
and just no one cared.
Yeah, I want to point out here though that it's insane just how this entire situation also impacted these two women who, again, for 36 years they had no idea what happened to their own biological parents. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure they had the big sit down, like, hey, you're adopted, all that kind of stuff. But now finding out added onto this, I mean, that's how many stories like this are out there. And the fact that the police really screwed up this bad, like I want to know the bigger picture of who was in charge of the case way back on December 12th, 1989, when they found their dead mother. Like, I want to know, like, who allowed this case to just, well, and I get sometimes there's cold cases. People give up. I get it, but
Here's what I'm gonna say on this. Let's just get the police in that department a nice round of Maxwell Apartments and call it a day.
okay, fine.
I mean, what else can you say besides this is really pathetic that they didn't even put two and two together when it mattered, and it seems like it took no effort for them to figure this out. And
Mhm.
again, what is the news? The news that's always like, oh, the police are really bad. It's like, oh, this is look how good the police are. They're doing work.
Yep.
I mean, they're not arresting for crimes right now, but don't worry, they're looking at a crime that happened 36 years ago. For
Yeah.
I don't even like it. This probably made the kid's life worse because I'm sure that they had questions, but it's just like, okay, and they
Yeah.
move on from it. Now it's like, actually, your mother was killed and the police didn't do anything about it. And the only reason that we're able to tell you what's happening right now is that we decided to put any effort into this as a cold case at some point, and we immediately figured out the answer. We could have done it in the past, but
Yep. And again, it's I think there's a closure. There's maybe some form of well, there's one portion of closure. At least the kids know the adults know that they weren't abandoned. But at the same time, too, now they find out, like, okay, well, this is what happened to my mother. Now, who did this and why? Because there's always a rhythm, and apparently there's people saying that there's witnesses. Why weren't these witnesses properly interrogated even further? Did we got descriptions of the two men that were in the car with the mother and the two children? What led up to this? What was the escalation? Why? There's so many questions. Why? And when it comes down to criminality, let's be clear here. Even those in law enforcement are involved in it. I'm not going to say allegedly there could be a cover up or something of that nature, but there's always something more. Like, why something dies on the vine.
I'm gonna give you my, just with again the little evidence that we have, I'm gonna give you my interpretation.
Speculation in your opinion.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay. This goes back to, again, I get the feeling that the police are like, it's just a poor brown woman. Who cares? I think that's literally, that explains everything. It's like, it seems like the evidence is pretty obvious. Everyone's listed missing. The police just didn't care. And again, this is the California police. So again, what are the California police right now? We got to protect migrants so that we can keep investigating, not investigating when they get killed. That's the status quo we want. That's the status quo we want to get back to.
Mm-hmm. And Marco Rodriguez, who's the father of the girls? Well, we got DNA. We get able to find out. And the thing, wait, hold on, wait, because I'm pretty sure the mother might have some relations, distant relatives, maybe a cousin, maybe a grandmother might be alive, some elder relative. There might be a bigger picture here. So we'll find out more. I mean, God willing, hopefully we do. But that's what we're going to end the segment on. So let's go ahead and move on.org, folks, to the next segment of the day. But keep your heads on a swivel.